Well, hello and welcome to Crazy Town. We are going to see some craziness tonight. Now, let me just tell you, I realize I have an iMac that has a variety of different USB ports, multiple. So I've actually plugged my mic straight into one of the USB ports. So I'm hoping that has rectified the problem because we need it to work tonight. So let me recap what we did. This morning, my time, is that I mentioned this morning that everything that I have seen regarding the documentary and all the allegations regarding this cult have all been aligned with the church. And therefore, the argument would be that because the allegations are towards the church, and have occurred in the church setting, that it is the fact that 7M is being defamed because the management company has nothing to do with the goings on in the church. And so by calling the documentary the 7M TikTok cult, when the actual cult, and I've got it in inverted commas, cult is actually the church. The other thing is that when Priscilla and Melaine joined the cult, only the church was in existence. 7M, the management company, was formed later. So they can't be part of the 7M cult if it didn't exist at the time. Does that make sense? So therefore, as far as 7M is concerned, everything is defamatory because it's got nothing, they're separate entities. Now, I mean, if you were to prove that they are linked, you would have to show that one's an umbrella or one's a shell of the other, and then we get into business stuff. The only thing that I have seen that Shinn has been found guilty for is underpayment of wages, but everything else to date, he has been cleared off. So we are going to check out. So we're going to start off with some of the rants that we have seen, or the victory dance. I'm sure someone's writing an Emmy speech as we speak, because it would seem that we're celebrating like we're going to win an Emmy. So here, look at this. So we're going to start off here at the Instagram. Then we're going to go over and look at Llama Girl's video, which she recorded of Katie Joy from her YouTube channel. Then we're going to go through the various Instagram accounts, because Without Crystal Balls has discovered and has shown and put together the fact that Katie Joy promised that she wouldn't talk about where Shinn lived in a legal document submitted in her legal case, and she shows his house. So she has actually breached, under the penalty of perjury, that undertaking as well, which she put in her affidavit. So we have some big, serious problems, in my opinion. I also want to just briefly state that it's been reported today that Bruce Lerman has actually appealed his defamation decision. There were 4 things he wants to appeal. One is that the judge was wrong, that it was plausible that he had Brittany Higgins. He talks about the fact that he should be paid costs, not the other way around. And he's also going to be self-represented. So when you self-represent yourself, you have a fool for a client, just saying. And I mean, the other topic that I want to talk about at some point in time is Rakita Law as well, because that's another train wreck. There's a few train wrecks happening. Anyway, let's start here. So she's got this. So this is cut off from love. See, this is really where I'm having trouble here. This is where I'm having some trouble with some of this stuff. Cut off loved ones to save yourself. Oh, what am I doing here? Let's have a look at this.
Till you die to your loved ones.
One of the main things we were learning is that you have to die to your family in order to save them. And by save them, I mean like them going to heaven one day, even if they don't go to church all the time. You need to die to them. That way, at least you can follow your walk with God. And if you get into heaven, they're going to come with you.
As a believer, you want to hear that type of stuff. You like, of course I want to get to heaven. What do I have to do?
They would say, like, cut off your family because you need to work on yourself. The goal is not to keep them cut off. The goal is to eventually reach back out and get them to, like, follow God and love God the way that you do.
Dying to yourself means that whatever you want or whatever you need, die to it. Because what?
Okay, so she says the teacher Robert Shinn teaches his followers to cut off their family. Again,
Love your family, love you, etc. It doesn't mean love your human love. It's love with God kind of love.
who's that talking? I'm assuming that's her evidence to say that Robert Shinn has said that. Again, how do I know that it was her? And it says, this is what apparently he says. A complete other life in the pit. Just read the Bible. That's not how the story goes. You know, people saying, oh, thank you, Katie, for all that you do. Blah, 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 blah. So apparently that's from the documentary. There's a few clips here. So we've got...
Add beat ass. Add Reno. And he's like, okay, let's add Vic too as well. I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, my boys are okay. I was like, I want to be in it too.
I was hungry to like get invited to everything.
I was invited by my bro B-Dash. Okay, it sounds dope.
I would talk to Miranda at the end of the night, like, hey, what'd you do today? How is everything going? She said, oh, I've been at Isaiah's house with James, having dinners and reading the Bible. We didn't grow up very religious. We grew up Catholic, but it wasn't on a regular basis.
Then we found out the pastor's wife, Hannah, was now James's talent manager. We're like, well, that's kind of weird.
In my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so this is a church, but they're also a management company. I just felt a little funny about that.
He was like, you know what? We're gonna start a management company. We're gonna call it 7M.
So she says...
Add beat ass.
So she says, a management company and also a church. The pastor's wife is now the manager of dances. Wait, what? Now, as I said, the thing is, they seem to be separate. Okay.
Wanted to do a video with Robert. If you're new here and you just watched the Netflix series Dancing with the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, I am one of the quote-unquote sleuth accounts. I'm Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball, and I have been covering Robert Shinn and the 7M situation since March of 2022, and I was involved in the production of the series. Fun fact you might not know about me is that Robert spent quite a bit of time in the very beginning of the spring of 2022 referring to me as Sandwich, and would spend hours and hours ranting and raving about my reporting. I even got sued by Robert. Robert is literally still suing me. In the series, Robert Shinn gets really angry when his daughter Chloe leaves along with his son-in-law Daniel. And he rants and raves and he yells and he says, "Who gives an F? Nobody's going to remember you." When he's talking about his own flesh and blood, his daughter, and his son-in-law, who was his right-hand man and helped him for years and had been with him in the church since he was a child. And I thought, you know, really, at the end of the day, nobody should remember Robert Shinn, because what we should be thinking about and remembering are the victims of Robert Shinn. Well, alleged victims if you're Robert, because he wouldn't admit to anything. But Robert, we're not going to remember you. Hey, I just go with Robert. If you're new here and you
Says so it was exposing 7M was it was another sleuth account. I believe, as was revealed in court documents in LA, Joanne, that, and what we've seen is that they wanted some help, and he said, well, why don't we form a management company? That the push came from the dancers themselves, not from him. I don't know. This is, again, she referred to him as
parts about doing a series like this for Netflix is knowing that by telling the story of the victims, we're going to be giving space and a platform to a man that maybe doesn't deserve it, Robert Shinn. The other part that's really challenging is that some people might start to leave nasty comments on the dancers that are still involved in the group. And we have to remember that even though they're still in a group and they're still involved with this shady dude back here, they are victims. So if you're going to engage on their platforms, don't leave them nasty comments. Don't be mean. Don't tell them that they're brainwashed. Certainly don't remind them that he's a creep, because they don't even really monitor their own social media. And Robert's wife is their manager, Hannah, and she and her friend Shirley are probably going to be deleting the comments anyway. And by going to their pages, honestly, you're just giving him money. Every time you watch one of their videos, he's making money. Not them, not the dancers, but Robert. So reconsider following them. In fact, don't follow them. And if you're following them, maybe unfollow them. Because Robert here...
Is she telling her followers now, is she doing tortious interference now by telling people to not follow them? However, now KJ's the one that cannot keep his name out of her mouth and making people remember. Correct. I know. She always said that he called her Sandwich. I don't ever know why, but she's the only one that ever said it. Again, there has never been any evidence of that.
In my opinion, only cares about money. And the less money that Robert makes, the bigger impact this series will have on him.
So yeah, you agree, Lulu? Tortious interference? Yeah. So she says, this is a public service announcement to be kind to the dancers. I believe Miranda has copped a lot of stuff with people saying she's been horrible to her parents. I have to say I haven't watched it, but I've not seen anybody talk about the fact that Miranda talked about her father and why she couldn't see her father, and the fact that they were controlled. And here we go.
The reason why it's so urgent for any woman that's still trapped inside of the cult of 7M or Skehnah Church, like Miranda Wilking or Kendra or Coco Shuffles, those are three dancers I can think of.
She's Miranda Derrick. She's not Miranda Wilking. She is married. Don't insult her by calling her Well, KJ will tell you that apparently James and Miranda don't even know that they're suing her, she's saying.
Of off the top of my head that are still involved is because the longer they're in, the more at risk they are. These three women, Shirley in the back, Chrissy, who is the CPA, and Hannah, who is his legal wife, are joined the cult when they were young. Shirley was just out of high school when she met Robert Shinn and was groomed to be his lawyer. She actually...
Well, now she's talking about grooming. Now, remember, and we've got to find the timeline of this, she's talking about a cult and she's talking about the church because 7M did not exist until the dancers. So remember that.
Actually was his wife in 2009 and 10. He then divorced her for Hannah. Hannah joined when she was also in their early, like late teens, early 20s. Each one of these women...
Well, if she's early 20s, she's therefore an adult.
Plays a vital role in his scheme.
Well, I would have thought so. And don't forget, Plan to Create, she also filed an affidavit. She filed an affidavit to be as well. Remember, her and James did an affidavit. So, and that is she now? Are you being groomed to be someone's lawyer? Maybe. Because I filed an affidavit and that it has their signature on it, and it's gone into court, I have no reason to doubt that it's not their, it would be their that they know about it. So again, we've got another issue because it would be found out to be fake.
Shirley is the lawyer and she signs all the legal documents and drafts all the business agreements. Miss Chrissy, she is his CPA and does all the taxes for the members and helps him move the money around. And Hannah, as the manager and the mentor of the women, she's the brute and she's known to get physical. And actually Priscilla in the series accused Hannah of violence and attacking her when she left in May of 2022. The longer...
Okay, so now, and again, we're still just talking about conduct that occurred in the church. You see why 7M could have a very, very strong case. The management group can have a very, very strong case.
Miranda's in, the more likely she will be preyed on and become a victim of not only his cult, but of also what the essay that he allegedly does. The reason why it's so urgent for anyone...
Oh, well, she's now, yes, that's right, money laundering. Robert sued all three of us hoping to stop the series, she says. These credits are satisfying on so many levels. It says Robert tried to intimidate the super sleuths. Apparently they referred to as super sleuths. No, I would beg to differ that you were super sleuths because, as I said, it was Cactus Bill reacting to her YouTube that I got the light bulb moment that 7M had a real opportunity to win because all the conduct is occurring in the church and with the church. Remember, Priscilla and Melanie Lee were not part of the management company. So how can you say they were part of the 7M TikTok cult if they weren't dancers? And they were part of the church. You see where the argument starts to go a bit askew? Facts matter. Facts matter. So I need to, so she says, in fact, he tried to link us in a civil conspiracy to slander and destroy his career over false allegations. The problem is the allegations were facts and sometimes his own words. Well, I have not heard his own words. the waterboarding thing that she said that was his own words was in fact a woman talking. So I haven't heard from his own words. The financial stress this has put many of us under was not easy, but I know for me, seeing this project to the end was necessary. I was never going to allow a man engaged in this conduct accuse me of defamation when everything we have reported on is a fact. So she's saying it's all a fact. It's all a fact. All right? Again, don't say it's a fact unless you can show the proof. His own words debunked all of his claims in the lawsuit he filed against me. I've not seen... I'm very interested. I have not seen in everything, or even all the clips that she has shown. I'm really trying to keep an open mind. I've not seen anything. As a present to Robert, and even more joy to this for Robert, Shirley, Hannah, James, Miranda was served with deposition notices. So they were served with, that's okay. I'm assuming they would have got deposition notices because Robert, James and Miranda are parties to the lawsuit. So I would assume, and the docu wasn't compelling and KJ's claims were not even addressed. Even if they were, this was so one-sided. Was it, Lulu? I guess you watched it. So Sunday, I'm going to do an open forum where people who have watched it can talk about it. And those that haven't watched it can talk about it. Somebody is watching it for me. And is going to give their reaction. So KJ's going to get stalking added to a defamation case from Shinn's neighbours. Well, that's right. So then she says, this group is so insidious. Oh yes, Robert added James and Miranda to the lawsuit. They likely have no clue they are suing me because, well, Hannah and Shirley signed documents for them. She says. Hi, Vidandra. So here she's alleging that Miranda and Derek didn't write their own affidavits. This group is so insidious. I hope that James and Miranda wake up before these people drag them into more lawsuits that they can't afford. Melanie, Lee, Priscilla, Haley, and me were all sued in 2 separate cases. My lawsuit is in Minnesota and their lawsuit is in California. Anyone suggesting we profited off this is misguided. Robert wanted to silence the victims and silence the reporters. He didn't realise he tried to silence women that would not be bullied by him. Sunshines and Rain, I realised I had an extra USB port in the back of my computer and I've plugged it straight into the computer instead of into the... Short order says, what financial stress did KJ endure unless she contributed in some way to the film? And if she did, she would have been credited for it, if not personally, but by her business. Terry says, 7M will win. She's so sure of herself. It's all gossip and made up. KJ isn't embellishing nitwit. Okay. Then...
everything they're saying is wrong, and this is just a church, and it's just a 7M management, and Miranda.
And this was around the time when he was telling everybody, post you going out, post like you hanging out with your family, or post this, post that, make everything seem so normal, right?
When
and
God said love one
he
another,
wasn't saying
love
that
your family,
before.
love etc. It doesn't mean love with your human love. It's love with God kind of love. Different kind of love. You're not Jesus' disciple until you die to your loved ones.
Pastor's wife. Buy her. And tomorrow we'll have Vic and Reno appearing on Ellen's show. Aubrey just did a commercial, toilet paper. He's doing his butt dance right into the toilet. You know how much he's getting paid for that? $37,000 and $500. That's why I have you sign NDA so that you won't share this. Praise the Lord. Amen.
NDAs in service? Why am I signing an NDA? That doesn't make sense. Or what are you hiding?
Got called into service to talk about how everything they're saying is wrong, and this is just a...
Okay, again, she says, only after one day of streaming Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult is number one across all of their TV stations, both scripted and unscripted. For the first time, the world is getting a look inside the dark world of Robert Shinn and his church and management company that has trapped professional dancers into a psychological, spiritual prison. Many of the people have experienced outrage that despite multiple women filing reports with the LA, and she's tagged them, the LAS and the LA office has not charged Robert Shinn. The sheriff's office told the women that if at least 3 women came forward, they would arrest Robert Shinn. Over a year later, Shinn is still free. The LA district attorney has everything they need to charge Robert Shinn. While Robert remains free, other women in this group remain at risk. At what point will law enforcement do something? Skehnah Church is tax exempt, but also using for-profit entities to seemingly launder money and donations. The IRS began an investigation into Robert Shinn, including in 2022, according to a report by the US Sun. Reports have been made to the FBI. Nothing has been done. At what point is this man stopped? Well, maybe because they've found nothing, or they don't have enough evidence. Please share and continue to spread awareness about this series. Together we can hopefully ring the bell loud enough for the authorities to step in. So now, is she again trying to interfere with an allegedly an active investigation and tortious interference, sending hound dogs? Isn't that against isn't that against terms of service? Are you emailed the LADA? This is unbelievable. I don't know why. Here we go. Look at this. Video has no sound. One of Robert's neighbours said his car, along with several other church members' cars, was seen at the White House on the church property. Joanne says if they haven't charged him, they don't have the evidence. Why send people who watch a documentary to take up police time? Totally unacceptable. I agree, Joanne. If they've got everything they needed and they haven't charged him, it means either there's nothing to report, and up until 2017, there was a statute of limitations in California for SA crimes. And so before and yes, I did my research. We looked at it this morning. We looked up the statute of limitations in California. But prior to 2027, you had 10 years. Ashore Olive says, yes, she's sticking her nose out too far here. She's instructed others. Lulu says, KJ did this to Todd Chrisley too. She did. So now she's got Robert Shinn's neighbours spying on him. Robert Shinn's neighbour said there have been a lot of unusual activity at the church property today. There appears to be a meeting called at the White House where Priscilla lived prior to leaving in 2022. Robert's luxury CUV was there yesterday with other high-end vehicles that were not normally there. We suspect that Robert is in full-blown panic mode and melting down. He's likely attempting to devise a new plan to fool the public. Nick Ranio's Instagram was deleted last night. Comments unlimited or off the dancers' accounts. Well, maybe because they were getting abused. Many friends and family have been reaching out in my DMs to make sure to check my stories for updates. So someone says, Kendra made a post with clips of her life and career, talking about it being a really real and true documentary, trying to flip the narrative. She says, yep, do not engage. She's a victim. Someone says, yes, I'm not. I see all the awful things people have been saying. I've just been appalled. And then someone says, the police needs to arrest Robert. She says, I don't disagree. Thank you for helping these families. So heartbreaking. I'm going to ask again, why is it that Katie Joy is allowed to cut off her toxic family, but Miranda Derrick, who has accused her family of being toxic, can't? Oh no, she's talking again.
of Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. And we are #1 in apparently like 10 countries, including the United States and the UK, and top 10 in 10 other countries. I just had the opportunity to speak to the director, Derek, who let me know. So Robert is apparently having a bit of a panic. One of his neighbors who lives on the same street as him reached out to me today to let me know that they saw a lot of cars parked out of the church property. The church actually is a school that's being used as a church, even though there's not really public services. And it has like this apartment that's a home. It has like 5 bedrooms. And apparently there's not a lot of cars usually parked there. And according to the neighbor, there's been a lot of activity there, including Robert's car, a white luxury car, we're still waiting on the kind, and Isaiah Shinn's BMW was seen out there. And you know that the last time this went viral, Robert went a little bit bananas and he put everyone in NDAs and basically told them if they didn't like it, they could leave. Well, it sounds like he could be doing some more strategy. And
if they didn't like it, they could leave. You can't leave a cult. Usually you don't leave a cult alive. You have to sneak out. So if they want to, if they're leaving free of their own free will, we have a problem. Why?
So just remember, everyone, just because you see them dancing and smiling doesn't mean there's all happiness. And just because they post photos with their families doesn't mean it's all good. All right, y'all? Robert is a man that likes to control narratives, so stay tuned.
Oh, so does somebody else I know. Oh, we got more.
These beautiful dancers behind me, these are real people. And even though they're posting online right now after the documentary has come out, it would be very easy for...
That's right, Joanne, a cult that lets you leave. I've never heard of that. She says, Robert controls every aspect of their lives. The dancers are required to email diaries every day to their mentors for their daily activities, including what they ate, what they got up to, prayer, working out, and time spent on content. They have to confess to any bad behaviours or disobedience to their mentors. They are encouraged to tell on each other if they do something disobedient. They are full-time mentors. Their mentors control their finances, diets, clothing, housing, allowances, and relationship. If Robert wants to break up a relationship, they'll break up. If Robert wants to marry a couple, he'll marry them. Robert is known to even dictate when couples can be intimate and if they can be intimate at all. He has final say, and they are doing whatever they can to please him. They please Robert. They believe that Robert speaks directly to God. So please be kind. They're basically Robert's robots and have no clue they're in a cult and won't listen to anything critical out of fear of being punished by Robert. Punishment includes being isolated from the other members, isolated from spouses, left out of activities, loss of job opportunities, being rebuked and alienated from community, and losing any and all privileges. When people leave, several have faced physical attacks or being followed. They have strict bedtimes and have to be up at 5 a.m. every day. They can't have children because Robert believes kids interfere with members' income potential. Robert views them as money. So anyway, Lulu says, way to advocate for victims, KJ. And then says, KJ doesn't let her mods leave without threat. Who's short order? Who's controlling the narrative here? She's done nothing but tell people what to do and what to think. Yes, that's why I said, bring your free-thinking brain. I didn't mean to do that.
For the public to leave snarky comments and be just like nasty to them. And you may even see them snark back in comments, but we don't know if those snarky comments are actually them or things that Robert's telling them to say, or if it's one of their handlers, Hannah or Shirley or Matthew, that is writing that out, or even Isaiah.
Oh, now we have another person, another handler. They've got handlers now. I thought they were mentors. See, the more she talks. Wait, why was this not brought out? If true in the series, it sounds... Well, here's the thing. There's a lot that apparently... Sorry, I'm like... got the arrow up her nose at the moment. There's a lot of stuff that could have been brought up.
The thing is that they don't have control, and everything that they do is to please Robert. And Robert is notorious for telling them what to post. So if they're posting that the real story is this, or we're not being held hostage, nobody said that they were being held hostage. No one said that they couldn't leave if they...
Hang on! What did she say? No one said they went... Wait on. I need to go back. How do I get back?
They didn't want to. It's a psychological prison. He's holding them under psychological tactics.
So she's saying that they can leave if they want to, which...
Telling them that their salvation and their family's future, like, is all up to them.
And saying that they're not being held in a... Hang on. So then...
Like, they think they're saving the earth, y'all. They think they're anointed by God. And they are doing all of these dances for Robert. They're posting for Robert. They're trying to get Robert's attention. They're trying to please him. So don't be nasty if they're making weird comments. Don't leave nasty comments. Just be kind.
Hang on a minute. Did you just notice that that was huge contradiction there? Right? That was such a big contradiction.
I'm going to keep this short and...
Oh. Hang on. I'm really confused again. I'm a little bit confused now because now she's changed the narrative again.
So you see these beautiful dancers behind me?
Let's have a listen
These
again.
are real people. And even though they're posting online right now after the documentary has come out, it would be very easy for the public to leave snarky comments and be just like nasty to them. And you may even see them snark back in comments, but we don't know if those snarky comments are actually them or things that Robert's telling them to say, or if it's one of their handlers, Hannah or Shirley or Matthew, that is writing that out, or even Isaiah. The thing is that they don't have control, and everything that they do is to please Robert. And Robert is notorious for telling them what to post. So if they're posting that the real story is this, or we're not being held hostage, nobody said that they were being held hostage. No one said that they couldn't leave if they didn't want to. It's a psychological prison. He's holding them under psychological tactics, telling them that their salvation and their family's future, like, is all up to them. Like, they think they're saving the earth, y'all. They think they're anointed by God.
So she said nobody is saying that they were held captive, and no one is saying that they couldn't leave. Isn't that what she was saying earlier, that they couldn't leave? I'm sorry, Bo, she did say that. She has said all of that.
And they are doing all of these dances for Robert. They're posting for Robert. They're trying to...
I thought they did the dances for income, actually.
To get Robert's attention. They're trying to please him. So don't be nasty if they're making weird comments. Don't leave nasty comments. Just be kind. So you see these beautiful dancers behind.
So she's telling everyone else to be kind, but she doesn't need to be, right? Gee, here we go again.
I'm beyond thankful for all of the love and support that everyone has been giving me through comments and DMing and all my friends and family texting me. Like, you guys truly are like my backbone, and I'm like, I don't even have words. I'm speechless. There has been nothing but love, and I feel it. Like, I feel your love, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry I haven't been able to message everybody back. I'm still in the process of digesting, what we just saw unfold in the documentary. Even though I lived it, it's like, it's hard to watch it still, But, this is my thank you to everyone, and I appreciate your support, kindness, and love more than you will ever. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but
that's the issue plan to create. If they can leave whenever they want, then what is the problem here? They are all adults. And that is not what happens in cults. How many cults have had people die because they've wanted to leave. Miranda said, KJ said both, that Robert had said that they can leave if they don't like it, and then KJ says they cannot leave and keep in prison of Robert. Correct. And she says, oh, we love you, Kylie Douglas. Thank you for helping us tell this story. She keeps using the word us. We will get the rest of your friends out and we will hold Robert accountable.
Welcome to the Millionaires Club.
His message was very money driven, and he was constantly seeking financial gains and status.
Take care of your pastor, your pastor's wife. Buy her a new dress, or
And Robert was trying to break into Hollywood. So it makes sense when he found the dancers. He saw all this an opportunity to be like a world famous social media talent manager. And his plan worked.
He would always share whenever someone would get a deal, and he would share the amounts that they were making.
And tomorrow we'll have Vic and Reno appearing on Ellen's show. Aubrey just did a commercial.
So here's the thing.
We got called into service to talk about.
She says Robert's voice heard. But how do I know it's Robert's voice? I haven't heard his voice. How do I know that it's his voice without hearing his voice? Now, it's interesting because so that is her Instagram post. Now we get to the stories, and then we've got to go and look at there's been a lot of stuff deleted, and I have to show you what Miss Balls has found, because she has been remarkable. Now she's done a ask me anything here. Thought but he already had done films, one with Meghan Markle in it, so it's not just dances. Am I wrong? He had done some films, correct. He could be a complete jerk, but I haven't seen anything illegal. Well, that's the thing, Lily. As far as I know, being a horrible person, he could be the worst person in the world. If there's not evidence to charge him under the law, you're innocent until proven guilty, apparently. So then she wrote, thoughts after watching the series, thought you were instrumental in finding the legal docs to expose this story. Oh, thoughts after the series that you were instrumental in finding the legal docs to expose this story. Amazing job. Archival consultants that work on documentaries are consultants that help producers and directors tell the story through their knowledge and research of a story. In my case, I spent hundreds of hours in researching, interviewing victims. Hang on a minute. Didn't Derek say in a couple of things that there was often just him and interviewing victims, families, business associates and friends all had all that documentation that would support claims made in the series. This means consultants like me work with the legal team to ensure that claims can be backed up. I haven't seen the claims backed up. Even the clips you have shown me, KJ, don't prove squat. What it does prove is that everything was occurring in the church and not in the management group. And you're being sued by the management group. So if she made everyone sign NDAs, does that mean those people leave? Well, oh yes, she's telling everybody to. And then she says, the NDAs are generic. Aubrey signed one and it didn't stop him from participating. He's suing Robert to have the NDA deemed fraudulent. NDAs are not enforceable in a court of law if they are used to silence people from reporting crimes or to cover up crimes. That is correct. But what crimes are we talking about? Again, you can't say what crime. What crime has occurred to Aubrey? They proved that she was involved and withheld discovery because of her correct. When are the authorities going to when are the authorities going to take this seriously and do something? Contact the LADA or leave comments on their socials and apply pressure. Leah Remini had to make several shows about Danny Matheson and push the DA to charge him. Let's follow with an example. But there was a difference there. Remember she said how she makes the people that clean her house sign NDAs, correct? Yeah. All right, so she's telling everyone to contact the LADA. There's 100 here in her stories. This is unbelievable. The justice system is broken in the US. Well, as I said, even it is that Minnesota is very slow with the court case, but we will get to the court, KJ. You can count on that one, says Miranda. You can use for silence, but not if something illegal happens. I have written a few, says Joanne. Yeah. The thing is, as I said, what crimes has there been alleged? I mean, what crimes has he committed? Again, and then again, she's put in the LADA office there. It's sad that a girl lost 23 years of her life with him. It is horrible. So here's my argument. When did the Skehnah Church start and when did 7M start? No, she doesn't show the name. It's all anonymous. Someone Googled, is Dancing for the Devil real? So 7M was founded in 20. Here's the other issue, right? If we go to 7M's website, we're going to go to 7M Films website. Bear with me for a moment. Okay. Here's my issue. Here's my biggest issue. All right. This is their website. 7M Films is an LA-based talent managing company, some of the top social media. 7M was founded in 2021. So how is there a 23-year history with something that was founded in 2021? This is the issue. This is the issue. You can't have a 23-year history with something that was not founded until 2021. You see? This is why they are suing him. Yes, the case was dismissed against Lydia. Yes. So it says, so sad that a girl lost 20 years. It's horrible that other women have lost as much time as her and are involved and now have become co-conspirators of the dancers. Robert refused to let members have children because they can't work. I knew Hannah back when she was young, when I was a child at our childhood church. Joanne says Netflix may be in trouble. I bet this would have been devastating to see what she's become through her husband, says it. So this is my whole, this whole thing about the 7M Tic Tac cult by Netflix has bothered me. All right, because Lydia and Melanie But because we're talking about the church, right? It's about the church. All right. Not about the dance management. Lydia didn't win. That is correct. But that hasn't stopped them from using that information. I followed this story in real time via Without a Crystal Ball, and I'm invested. I've been waiting a long time for this documentary to release, and true, it's twisted. And a valuable reminder that what you see online is seldom as it is in reality. So someone, she shared that. We know, because... So, how did you get the audio? Was someone secretly recording sermons? It was a great doc. Everything obtained for this series was obtained provided legally. No laws were broken to make this series. A lot of churches now, or since COVID, a lot of churches do now record and live stream. She's going to get a lawsuit too from Shinn for talking on the docu. Is she? Oh yes, probably. No one can ban you from having children. It's their choice to put their career in front of children, says Vedandra. Correct. I'm curious to hear about the process of reprogramming to get the victims when they get out. There isn't a reprogramming process, and most deprogramming therapies have long been debunked. Leaving a cult is a long process. Trauma-based therapy, building self-confidence, establishing a support system, learning to make choices on your own, learning about coercive control and narcissistic abuse, deconstructing the faith and talking out the false teachings from the truth, learning to trust yourself, asking questions, and critical thinking, also part of the big healing. I advocate for critical thinking here. I want you to ask the questions. I want you to think about it. I want you to say, this doesn't make any sense. I showed you that 7M Films was established in 2021. And it was the dancers that pushed it. How can that be a cult? If we're talking about the Skehnah Church being a cult, we then have a completely different kettle, or as we would say, a completely different kettle of fish. Completely different kettle of fish. We would be talking completely differently. But I know she says it means that you're defending the cult. I'm not defending anything. I am trying to get the facts. I'm trying to sort the fact out from fiction. And my point is that Priscilla and Melaine Lee could not have been part of the 7M cult because it didn't exist till 2021. She was the it girl and so kind. It's wild to see how much she's changed. And also, Hannah Shinn was the girl. Wow, was the it girl. Wow, so sad to see how she developed. Who is watching? I guess a large percentage are bot accounts from the cult. Because 11% said, I'm not watching. I don't want to think. I want you to tell me how to think and tell us where the girl in the coffee cup went. I don't know where the girl in the coffee cup went, Vedandra. I wish I knew. There was a girl. There was a girl in a coffee cup. So apparently, and again, this is what cult leaders do. They get really upset if you're not watching the stuff. Just because people aren't watching, so what? Do I care? No. Okay, so that we've got Robert Voigt. There is a picture of Robert Shinn preaching, but everything else is just audio. It's like she's convinced herself that this would destroy Robert Shinn in this case, and now it's all out. Her thoughts have solidified. Well, correct. It's bizarre behaviour, in my opinion. I guess I'm watching a large percentage of the 11% not watching a bot's accounts from the cult. So apparently we're all bots. I'm a bot. I want to know what she's, so. What do you think about my theory about 7M suing for defamation because all the alleged actions occurring out of the church? What do you think? What do you think about that theory that I've got? Because if my theory is correct, she's in diabolical trouble. An insanity plea, they're very hard to prove. In your opinion, she invested, well, she seems to have, she keeps saying we, and she talked about how they pitched it, and I wouldn't be surprised if she isn't the one that pitched it. So she's still going on about this. She's obsessed again with Robert Shinn. She is obsessed with him. Does she want to be wife number 3? This is how I'm spending my day. I have been and then she's got exposing 7M, stop coaching, and without a crystal ball, this person said. So she's, I believe exposing 7M and stop coaching was also the archival consultants as well. Oh, and we have to. So she did admit it, didn't she? She did, yeah. So she then shares this, good times. So my theory is, Lulu, that all the alleged allegations and all the alleged stuff that has been filed at 7M, okay, is defamatory due to the fact that, so for example, the waterboarding that she accused, that happened in the church. A lot of the stuff is from the church. The 7M is the management group. And what they've said, Netflix called it the 7M TikTok cult. Well, 7M has only been around since 2021, and they shared Priscilla and Melanie Lee story about meeting Robert and joining his cult and just getting out. They couldn't have been part of the 7M cult if it's only been around since 2021. My point is that it's the church. If you were going to say, you could say the church was a cult, not the management group. So therefore, by saying it's 7M is a cult, 7M is a cult, 7M is a cult, is defamatory. And this morning we looked at the what has to be proven that it was false, has to be proven that it went out to more than one person, and it has to be proven that it could cause damage. And all of those 3 things have happened to 7M. If we are talking about the church, Skehnah Church, we would then get to the plausibility aspect of it. It could be plausible, but then a cult is not illegal. So my point is, because 7M sued her, they have the best likelihood of success than if the church sued her. Because everything she has done, she's talking about 7M. But all the evidence that she's showing shows the church. That's my theory. Sunday brunch with Skehnah, all right? And this has just proven my point. And Priscilla and Melanie weren't dancers either, I believe. So not all the people are dancers involved. So all right, this is where we start to get into some sketchy territory. All right, in my opinion. You think that's a good theory, Miranda? Yeah. Maybe I should be a lawyer. All right. So we've got, this is the police station that all the reports were filed at. Internet, do your thing. Internet, do your thing. There is also in Minnesota something called criminal defamation. And I reckon, and I don't know much about criminal defamation, I haven't looked into it. I might have to do that. But it looks like, as long as the judge hearing this case isn't a whack job, this should be a slam dunk. No. Well, as I said, I mean, the judge could say Robert Shinn wasn't defamed, but Miranda, James, and 7M were. That still could also work out. So now she's sending everybody to go harass the police station. I made a promise to Dean, Kelly, and Melanie Wilkin. That's why this series needed to happen. So somebody that removed themselves from a toxic relationship, Miranda's own words, Katie Joy has been trying to reunite a family to somebody that that somebody else has said is toxic. Imagine contacting Katie Joy and saying you need to contact your parents. But remember, she's the only one that can cut family off. Nobody else is allowed to. Yes, top 10 TV shows in the US today. So now I'm sure she's sitting there writing her Emmy speech. She's got her Emmy speech ready. Congratulations to all my content creator friends who've been reporting on this story for years and helped make this doc #1. Really, that promise sounds really sus. The parents contacted KJ first. Yes, I know, short order cook. Let's stop Robert Shinn and all the cult leaders out there. I got really angry earlier when she called her Miranda Wilkin because the glaring hole in the media coverage of this story is that Nick Riano is also a victim of this cult and separated from his family. Nick has allegedly been deemed not remarkable by Robert Shinn, and he's been relegated to working as a janitor at the church property, while also not being allowed to interact with the dancers or receiving the same rewards as marketable dancers. Where's the proof? And again, has been working as a janitor at the church property. We're back to the church. Do not follow the dancers. Unfollow. So now we're back to tortious interference. Because now she's got, watch, do not follow the dancers. Unfollow, if anything. Do not leave comments on their pages. Follow without a crystal ball. Tortious interference. Tortious interference. The tortious interference is strong with this one. Oh, KJ contacted the Wilkins. I don't know what this all means. She's sharing all sorts of stuff. Anyway, whoever contacted who, I'm very sus. I live next to the church house this all happened at. I knew it was bad news. I always wondered where the money was coming from. Where is everyone? Exactly. Why is a public church not open, and why is there a locked gate? Well, maybe because they have all these people sticking their nose in. Sounds like a cult leader to me. KJ saying don't believe others, but only believe me, says Miranda. You old people from Robert's past are blowing up my DMs. Again, we have just got this random screenshot. We've got no context I remember hearing that he was getting a divorce and leaving the family because his first wife wasn't fulfilling his duties. It does look like me behind the fence, Sean. Yes, it does. I remember hearing he was getting a divorce and leaving the family because his first wife wasn't fulfilling her duties as a wife, which is one of her duties as his sexual needs, and how a Christian wife is never to reject her husband. But why he decided to be an adopter, that I didn't even know or hear that once he was one. What? That makes no sense. And again, there's more comments down here, and I'm sure this bit here has covered up something as well. I want to see the full context. And then she's got one of the, so that's about his car and the neighbours spying. Robert Shinn neighbour adds this kind of odd detail. Apparently they're Trumpers. She says, Trumpers, and she says, yes, Shirley lives there. That's his lawyer. They had Trump stuff up for the election. Oh, right. Now, I don't believe that there's anything wrong with being a Trumper either, is there? I mean, I have to say, when I look at the state of US politics, I'm sort of glad. Yeah, Miss Balls, by the post, I was screaming where, yeah, there's no cards there. Miss Balls has actually shown put together shown a clip of the legal document where she says she's not going to show any of his details or the houses or anything, and then she's broken it. So there's lots of issues that apparently it's number one in the UK. Well, very interesting. I mean, could he be the first? Could he be a president that gets to from behind bars? But that just fascinates me, because that can't happen in Australia. By the way, you can't have a criminal record. Should we encourage people to unfollow them and create cancel culture, try to stop the money? Let's not call this cancel culture. This is criminal activity, and unfollowing would be beneficial because all of the money goes to Robert, not the dancers. Again, tortious interference.
After the release of Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, and we are number one in apparently like 10 countries, including the United States and the UK, and top 10 in 10 other countries. I just had the opportunity to speak to the director.
Look at her face. Look at the face. The director. He called me. What do you reckon he told her to shut up?
Today is my sister's birthday. We're not allowed to contact her, and we're blocked on absolutely everything.
Oh, I just want to cry. Let's not call this cat. Ask the judge that, Kate. And then someone says, this documentary hits home. As a mum of 4, couldn't imagine if one of my kids would end up in a similar situation. It's devastating, infuriating, and deeply sad to watch. But follow Katie Paulson. She's Katie Paulson now. Back to KJ. How could that docu be number one? You fell asleep during the first episode, Lulu. Miranda, it's always been me. Yeah. Follow Katie Paulson. She's been following the story from day out and has a ton of interesting.
We have 2 daughters. We don't just have one. All the dancers that she danced with, someone else is controlling their lives.
Now she's, gee whiz, she's full of herself.
Day 2 after the release of...
Day 2! Are we going to get a daily, update, hey? That was way drawn out, it was.
Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, and we are number one in apparently like 10 countries, including the United States and the UK, and top...
Okay, Jess, myself, and I says My page keeps the message from the executive producer and a woman I'm proud to call a friend. Please lead with kindness with all the survivors that have left and remain, and those that remain inside. Thank you for your compassion, empathy, and leading by example. I don't even think we'll get to her. They are going to go on for months. I don't even think we're going to get to her YouTube video because we've been going for an hour, over an hour now. Why do dancers wear ill-fitting clothing? Does Shinn control that too? He controls their diets. Many of them have lost so much weight. Well, dance is a regulated industry. The dance company. He doesn't like people that have any fat on their bodies, and they have to eat whatever they are given, and they can only buy groceries that are on sale. Well, I buy groceries that are on sale. They eat scraps while Robert dines out and eats like a king. Hey, there's a cost of living crisis. Most of us are eating scraps at the moment. What's James's background? Does he have a family who I'm listening to? James's mother is permanently disabled after surgery went terribly wrong. She's basically in a vegetative state. He was in another cult before this. His first marriage was arranged by the pastor. He has a son that he rarely sees, and his former pastor was a convicted SO. He kind of hopped right into Skehnah. He's 9 years older than Miranda. He just said cult hopped right into Skehnah. She's just admitted there that it's Skehnah that's the cult, and not BAM, and not 7M. She's put it right there. It's right there. He cult hopped right into Skehnah. Cult hopped. Not into 7M, into Skehnah. Bomb drop. I'm gonna just put a timestamp here while it's on the screen. I'll timestamp it. Isn't Toad about, isn't he older? So this is we're at 1/12/24. Cult Skehnah. All right, there you go. Voila. At 1 hour, all right. She's just admitted. There wasn't much about Vic. He seems to be the most popular. Any info? This story wasn't about Vic, which is, by the way, a stage name, which he chose under Robert. He's very much involved. He's one of their most marketable, and he's deeply inside and controlled. No one from Vic's life wanted to speak up, and honestly, I've never heard of any of us being contacted by his friends either. It's interesting. I mean, WWE, the AEW, the wrestling, sports entertainment, they all use stage names too. Highly controlled. Hey, do you know when the HBO docuseries will be coming out? HBO is not making a series on Robert Shinn or 7M. They announced the documentary without any sources connected and hoped people would participate. Families and former members felt more comfortable working with our team. They couldn't tell the story without Miranda's family, and they were our team. They dropped the project after a few months because they couldn't secure enough sources, and we became the production company that would create the docuseries. They were my sources first. Our team. Starting over isn't easy, but Aubrey Fisher is doing his best every day to keep focused on his passion and making others smile through his content. A true survivor. This monster needs to be stopped. One of the most touching parts of the series was hearing from Aubrey Fisher after he learned what Robert had done to Priscilla. His heart for her pain and his desire to stop Robert was palpable. I want Robert held accountable and criminally charged, but I do not speak for Netflix, only myself. So remember, we discovered in this morning that prior to 2017, there was a statute of limitations. So if it occurred, that's probably out of time anyway for Priscilla. It could have been out of time. So, you know, that's a possibility. And now there is no, now it depends on the type of allegation as to what the statute of limitation is. So again, facts matter, but not when you're telling a narrative. In my live this morning, we pulled up the from RAN, you know, that organization, or RAIN. If I can find a cult that does laundry for me, I'm looking. Hey, I'm looking for a cult that can clean my house. If I can find a cult that can clean my house, I'm in as well. I'm so proud of Aubrey for sharing his story. There we go.
I don't know where to start. Today,
this documentary is wild and infurious. So what she's done is she's got everybody telling everybody to unfollow the dancers, but follow her. If that's not tortious interference, I don't know what is. See you, Aaron. Oh, thank you for the team at Dirty Robert for believing in us all and giving us the space. I've been speaking with a few of Kendra's relatives. These comments are not written by her. They believe they are her mentors writing because Kendra is super sensitive and frequently and won't fight and go back and forth. Hi, of course I watched it and I'm always protected in God's hands, but you don't understand how media marketing works or Hollywood. It's a one-sided documentary with money-hungry motive that you wouldn't know about because technically you don't know me or my personal life. I appreciate your concern, but I'm very aware I have the Holy Spirit. I'm not faking or pretending like most Christians do. I stand by my church and that's it for now. Now, if you're truly rooting for me like you just wrote, then no matter what, you stick by, especially when things on the outside look bad. And if you have more to say, you can always send me a personal message. Why is that a fighting back?
Of course. Make sure everybody go check out the Netflix special when that comes out. Yeah. Yeah, man. And I guess this is just, you know, for anybody who's still in that bitch, you got homies waiting for you on the other side, man. Like,
I just gotta
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, but I am beyond thankful for all of the love and support that everyone has been giving me.
No, I understand. She lost
and DMing and all my friends and family texting me. Like, you guys truly are like my backbone, and I'm like, I don't even have words. I'm speechless. There has been nothing but love, and I feel it. Like, I feel your love, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry I haven't been able to message everybody back. I'm still in the process of digesting, you know, what we just saw unfold in the documentary. Even though I lived it, it's like, it's hard to watch it still, you know? But, you know, this is my...
So that was her last one. Now, we need to go and have a look. I need to go to our X, or as it was, Twitter, because people have been posting a lot of stuff. There is so much. I can walk away and get, you know, come back and there's 30 or 40 notifications on my, and I've never, Miranda Derrick checks all the boxes for women who KJ despises. Beautiful, successful. Yes, correct. All right. This is something that without crystal balls, Miss Balls has shared. And I want you to see it. And I want you to think about it. And you're going to use your free thinking mind here, okay, because we're free thinkers. You're allowed to think whatever you like because, you know, as I said, I'm very open. We know that we can think about it. All right. She shared this. This is from one of her affidavits. Yes, she does. She ticks all the... So this was a document filed in the District Court of Minnesota on the 4th of the 11th, 2022. She says, as part of this litigation, I have agreed not to publish contact information for plaintiffs. I have not published conflict information for plaintiffs. I have not agreed to stop publishing stories about the plaintiffs. I have continued to publish well-sourced stories and fair opinion pieces about the plaintiff. I declare under the penalty of perjury that everything I have stated in this document is true and correct. Robert Shinn neighbour says there's been a lot of unusual activity today. Robert's luxury SUV. Many friends and family have reached out in their DMs. So look, she agreed not to share anything relating to, or I've published contact information for the plaintiffs. Now you could argue she's just shared a house, right? She's just shared a picture of the house, but people have already recognized it as being his house. Wasn't all of 7M's, well, it's supposed to be protected, remember? Yeah, I believe a lot of it has been. Now, she was talking about, like, the dancers would have to pay for housing, so paying rent to Shinn on top of management fees, not be... Well, that's the other thing, Barbara. With the costs, I don't know what rentals are like over here, but you nearly have to sell your soul to get a rental in Australia. They're very expensive and they're very hard to get. So if you are given the option to get one, then you would have to question it. We question everything. Right, so it says, Kelly and Dean flew to... Oh, so, yeah, that's right. Miss Balls also did a bio, did a summary for us. So she did episode 1, and she's doing episode 2. Let me just find this. And again, there's a lot of stuff that has been. A lot of people here. All right, here we go. Well, there has been no motion. She hasn't put a motion. She hasn't actually put a motion in yet. So, I don't know whether this was several minutes in. KJ was featured along with so many other content creators, nothing special. Shinn seemed happy because the video of dancers was getting more job opportunities. Charlotte made it on camera. Dean gives the creepiest vibes, asking his young daughters to blow him kisses. Melanie makes it seem she was in Eyed Wise Shut when at Robert's house. She stated she did not grow up religious, so of course she doesn't know about speaking in tongues. It's common practice in many religions. She contradicts herself about halfway in. In the beginning, she said she didn't grow up religious, but then said she went to several different churches growing up. Melanie was asked to get a friend an Uber to the airport and get to church. To be fair, I'd not drop everything when someone asked me to, especially if I'd made a prior commitment. Can't fault her for saying no. Concrete Kevin admits it was a genius idea to dance to old school music because no one at the time was doing it. It made them stars. It was Robert's idea. 7M has a 20% management fee, 10% tithe to the church, and 10% offering. Miranda and Melanie shared a car, and Melanie got mad Miranda was using it all the time. The Wilkins were monitoring Miranda's money and noticed when Miranda began to move it. Miranda didn't go to her grandfather's funeral, and the Wilkins freaked out and called the police. The police went into Miranda's house, and everything looked fine. Dean and Kelly flew to LA and confronted Miranda in the driveway of her condo. Dean physically tried to stop Miranda from leaving and asked in his mind if he was hurting her. I don't understand the whole die to yourself. That sounds problematic, but I'm not super religious. So we talked about Miranda got married without telling her family, and Melanie was paid off because she wanted to be maid of honor. Well, guess who wasn't even invited to be in the wedding party? Miranda. Kelly reached out to Rainio's parents, hoping to find families with similar situations. Rainio's parents said similar things were happening to them in regards to cutting kids cutting them off. They speak to these people like they are children. These are grown adults who left the nest and were told to spread their wings. They're busy working and being successful, and their parents are upset. Remember, only Katie Joy is allowed to go no contact with family. Dean accuses Shinn of human labour trafficking, and this lady on the phone tells him the people are involved are adults and that they can't do anything. These people are so damn overbearing. The audacity that Miranda is living her own life, not in the way they want, is wild. Miranda didn't wish Kelly a happy Mother's Day. Guess who else didn't? Katie Joy. Katie Joy is in a cult. Someone save her. Melanie shows up uninvited to a Christmas program. Miranda is, and was hoping they'd hug and skip off into sunset. Miranda didn't want to hug, and Melanie hugged her anyway, and Miranda was stiff. Kelly texts James because Miranda had blocked them all, and they met up. They were always able to text James, interestingly. Kelly saw Miranda and she looked nasty. Kelly fessed up and said there was no big news, and Miranda left. So the family was lying to Miranda. Melanie had kicked Miranda out of their shared TikTok account. She didn't admit this on camera and was trying to hide the fact she no longer had Miranda on her social media. There is an entire segment of this dramatic music and Melanie dancing and says how she was so betrayed that Miranda left. Miranda commented that Miranda's socials were blocked and that was the catalyst of the fake crying video of the Wilkins in February 2022. They knew full well that 7M was a cult. Miranda could be punished, but they made the video anyway. Again, they're talking about 7M being a cult. The church, I'm saying it's more plausible to be a cult. Miranda and James flew to Michigan. Miranda asked them to take down their video, and the Wilkins said no. If they got what they wanted in seeing Miranda, and the video could potentially harm her, why not take it down? Again, all of a sudden there were social media platforms that were exposing things Kelly said. Yes, and who was the family who got Katie Joy involved? But they don't mention that. Katie's IG is shown very quickly alongside Anti-7M's IG. All it shows is that Katie Joy was stalking the dancers by looking up court documents and searching for the internet for pictures of Robert. With Balls says, OMG, this is going to be amazing for her legal defense. Aubrey, Kylie and Kevin began talking to each other, worried that they were in an unsafe environment, and came to the conclusion it was a cult because of a social media posting, aka because of Katie Joy. Robert was talking about how they were under attack, and IMO, they definitely were because of KJ. Robert said they were going to overcome it and get famous. Robert said, I've been called a cult before. Robert did not say he was a cult. Seriously, this is what KJ thinks is going to absolve her of her litigation with Shinn. Melanie Lee is shown for the first time. Melanie begins digging into social media account, aka KJ and Anti-Center, and it's over. So that was her synopsis of the first episode. Okay? So then she's done the second one. You need to check out Miss Ball's all her stuff here. All right. So here's the second episode. Kelly and Dean fly to LA to stalk Miranda. They look at her social media to find out her location. They look up water towers and then drive up and down streets to try and find out where she's living. Shinn, all publicity is good publicity. I mean, that is showbiz. Shinn thinks he can heal people. Kevin says because of the Wilkins video in LA, Clippers stopped working with them. Again, related back to Katie Joy. Shinn sounds problematic. He's on tape saying what KJ said, that the dancers have to see their parents, but still cut them off, but somehow not let them know. Melanie is still making it about her, complains she can't see Miranda, who she's dating, and can't trust her to be her maid of honor. Melanie tells Kelly not to be nice to Miranda and be aggressive with her. Sounds like a Robert Shinn tactic right there. Isolate Miranda even more. Melanie wants the Wilkins post more negative content to social media in an attempt to bring Shinn down. This is all filmed. This is a private conversation, but hey, let's put this sensitive convo on Netflix. Shinn's sister Catherine storms a church meeting with a bunch of women and accuses Shinn of soliciting sex from women who were told they'd be his next wife and the women of God. Shinn asks the women for forgiveness. Some women do and stay. Again, some women left. Priscilla says that she was called into Shinn's house and he started making advances towards her, saying she owed him for how much he's helped her. It started out with massages. Shinn asks Priscilla to be his mistress. Priscilla accuses Hannah of beating her for sleeping with Shinn. Hannah was never charged or arrested, is all alleged. Now, here's the thing. What year was this? And it says more sad dancing. she says. Yeah. So, yeah, so far I don't. And then she says her take on episode 2. Why did Priscilla never press charges? Why? I mean, that's the question. So, but yes, it's all very interesting. Then there's all these comments on the district attorney's page, and again, everyone's inundating. Hey, I know is not the topic of this post, but after I watched the documentary, I'd like to know why Robert Shinn has had no charges brought against him. I live in Spain, so this is the only contact that I found. Me too, arrest him. That says Robert Shinn needs to be arrested ASAP. Why are you not arresting Robert Shinn? Do your job. So, that there is talk about tortious interference and riling up the people. So I'm going to have to probably come back and we're going to have to watch the rest because I'm an hour and a half in, been going very, very long now. And I'm going to probably have to finish up. And I have to say I nearly cancelled tonight's stream because I had today at work. It was a pretty tough day today because I had a child that disclosed something to me that started down the whole lovely leg of all the paperwork and all the stuff that you've got to do when that happens. So that very much consumed most of my day, and it was a tough one. But you know what? Everything that's needed to be done has been done, and hopefully now we've been able to work with with everybody that needs to work with the child for her to be safe and get things, and get her the help that she needs. So that was pretty tough. So as I said, I nearly pulled out because it sort of shook me a little bit to the core. And I have to do so much training in this. You have to do so much training in this. I have to do so much training in this. But when it happens, it still is very, very shocking because you hope you never have to see any of this stuff. So, anyway. So I'm probably going to come back in the morning, my morning, because it's 8:31. It's 8:31. I could go for another couple of hours, but I essentially came home because it also took a long time. I still had to do my job and then still do all the. Essentially came home and I literally came home, sat down and went live. So I really haven't had enough time to decompress. But anyway, as I said, I've now passed on to who needs to deal with it. And yeah, so it's a never end. I have to say it is a never ending thing of paper. I'm going to put some timestamps in here, just a few, but the important one where she refers to Skehnah being a cult, I think is important. She contradicts herself a couple of times, but yeah, I never got to the other stuff that I wanted. But look, I'm interested to see what you think about the theory about 7M having, to me, nearly a home run or a slam dunk or a free kick, penalty, whatever you want to call it, regarding this, whether that is going to play to their advantage. I'd be interested to see what you think about that. Whether you think that is. Sunday will be an open panel and I'll drop a link and anyone can come on. I encourage people who support Katie Joy to come on. Tell us why you think she's... Who else can I catch alive at 3:30? So you'll be able to come on panel if you've seen it. You want to give us your thoughts. If you haven't seen it, I haven't seen it. I've just seen all the reviews. And as I said, one of our lovely people from this channel, one of you is actually watching this on the weekend for me, going to do it for me, and we'll give their thoughts on it, what they think. As I said, Katie Joy supporters, you're more than welcome to come and join us and tell us why you think, and as long as you are open to listen to an opposing opinion. So I'm happy for you to tell me that I'm wrong regarding my idea about the defamation, but I can't reconcile the fact that 7M has only been going since 2021, and Priscilla and Melaine have saying that they've been in the cult for 23 years. Now, I know mathematics isn't my strongest point, but 2024 take 2021 is not 23. The church has been around that time. That has been around for that time, but not he founded that in 1994. So you've got the Skehnah Church that was founded in 1994. 1994. And you've got 7M, which was founded in 2021, which is the cult. You tell me. So that is what I'm interested. That's where I'm coming from. Actually, there is a. See, look at this. This is just. I know we're not just before we go. I know we don't use Wikipedia as a source, but look at this. 7M is an American talent agency based in LA by Robert Shinn. It has been described as a cult by the media due to its ties to the religious Skehnah Church, and it's faced several lawsuits. Right? It was the subject of Netflix Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. It represents social media personalities, mainly TikTokers. Right? Now, here's the thing, right? Due to its ties to the religious Skehnah Church. But it cannot see, Skehnah is a cult. This is Rolling Stones. Dancers whose 7M films came in owner runs a cult. Right? Look at this. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. You can go jump. It says, 3 dancers who previously worked with the controversial church aligned to company 7M are suing their previous talent manager and pastor. Right? And pastor. The filing names Shinn, 7M, and Skehnah. Skehnah is a cult operating under the guise of a cult. Skehnah is a cult under the guise of religious reads the cross complaint. Refers himself to as and preaches to Skehnah members. Again, we're talking about the church. The 7M dancers the only link is that they were all 7M dancers. Since it's alleged cult-like management practices within the company. So, at the time, none of the dancers represented by 7M responded to Rolling Stones. Now, 3 dancers have left. Yeah. And they talk about brainwashing and stuff like that. So look at the changes. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I don't know when the changes. I'm not good at that. Is there something there? Oh yeah, let's have a look. 7M Films. Here we go. Well, that one is, how do we find out? I edit. I'll view history here. 31st of May, 31st of May, 31st of May, 31st of May. They've all been done today. Whoever these people are. View logs for this page. Yeah, all today. So they've been done today. There you go. I've been able to do something technical today. So, it looks like the narrative's been put up by different people. I know anyone can write a wiki page. I'm very much aware of that. I'm very much aware of that, because that's why I don't really trust it. I just thought it was very interesting that there was a page there. That's all. All right. So on that note, I'm going to definitely go now. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, on a side note, my brother officiates his 500th game tomorrow of AFL football in a local competition. He's umpired. He will have umpired 500 games tomorrow, so that's pretty exciting. We're all going to go watch him umpire. We said we'll probably yell at him. You're blind, you're blind. Just for fun. Anyway, I'll catch you all later. Thank you for watching, and until next time, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. Look, let's see whether Katie Joy now starts counteracting this this narrative. But again, I just want to thank Cactus Bill for, as I said, for triggering the light bulb. Something that triggered my thought process that I went, 7M can sue for defamation because all of the alleged activities are happening within the church. And you could say it was plausible that the church was a cult. And don't forget that Priscilla and Melaine weren't dancers. So that takes that aspect out of it. And they were involved in the church. So there we go. I mean, as I said, this is more and more evidence of that. Okay, so until probably tomorrow. So I said, you might be lucky, you might get one from me in the morning, then one on Sunday. So you might get all of this other stuff. This would be cool, won't it? Anyway, I'll catch you.